Our country is said to be the embodiment of Africa. Across the center, from north to south, from east to west, its more precious treasures are its...
6 p.m. in Limbe, southwest region of the country. Dear televiewers, you're welcome to this another edition of our 6 p.m. Prime News on Camdis Television. We begin right away with our major head stories. Business operators have incurred huge material and financial losses after fire broke out and consuming about 10 shops at the Marché Bay Market in Bafoussam, west region of Cameroon. The ambassador of the Korean Republic, His Excellency Jokan Kim, has been granted audience by the minister delegate in the Ministry of External Relations in charge of Commonwealth, Felix Mbayo, to discuss on how to strengthen the over 60 years good bilateral relation that exists between Cameroon and Korea. Antonio Conceição, head coach of the Indomitable Lions of Cameroon, have released a list of 32 players pre-selected for the World Cup qualifiers in November, and Cameroon will be playing Malawi and Cote d'Ivoire on the 13th and 16th of November 2021. Details in a moment. Thanks for joining us. This is the 6 p.m. Prime News on Camdis Television in the Queen's language. We begin this newscast with a cover short. It was at exactly 12 noon that the head Korean delegation arrived at the Ministry of External Relations in Yaoundé this October 27, 2021. The ambassador of the Korean Republic, His Excellency Jokan Kim, was received in audience by the minister delegates in the Ministry of External Relations in charge of Commonwealth, Felix Mbayo. After the about 15 minutes audience, the ambassador of the Korean Republic, His Excellency Jokan Kim, explained that their discussions centered on how to develop and strengthen the over 60 years bilateral relationship that exists between Cameroon and Korea. He went further to say that the high-level meeting would take place in some weeks to come, during which the two countries will establish good diplomatic relationship ties. We now move over to Bafoussam in the west region of the country, where over 10 shops were consumed by white flames on the 25th of October 2021. Business people are in tears. Amongst those that were victims is an IDP from the English-speaking part of the country that is being rocked by the socio-political crisis that is ongoing on. Let's have more details with Rodfonyo.
The bee market of Bafoussam, a market where you can get any foodstuff or traditional attires of the West region at affordable prices, was ravaged by fire this Tuesday, October 25, 2021. Even though there was no loss of life, enormous material damage was recorded. At the moment, the true cause of the fire has not yet been established. Among the traders affected by the fire was an internally displaced person from the Anglophone crisis-stricken region from Dob. The man who fled the horrors of separatist fighters to take refuge in Bafoussam says he does not know what to do after losing at least 800,000 francs CFA, the amount of the items in his shop consumed. Like him, his colleagues, responsible for many families, launched the same cry of distress to call for help. This is not the first time this kind of incident is taking place in Bafoussam, especially in this market. Despite the timely intervention from the firefighting brigade, a significant part of the market is believed to have greatly burnt to ashes. Fortunately, there has been no loss of human lives, though the damage incurred is so huge. However, investigations have been opened to find out the root cause of the fire incident, which has consumed people's property. The town hall of Bafoussam 2 thereby announces the modernization of Market B after this incident in the commercial space of the regional capital of the West region. In 2013, more than 400 shops were consumed in a fire at the same market. Claims like these are commonplace in the markets in Cameroon. Anarchic construction, faulty electrical installations, blockage of easements, overcrowding of the premises explains the fires regularly recorded in these commercial areas of the country. To break this spiral of fire, the government is considering the creation of modern markets across the country.
Hisakam workers are reclaiming 3 months' salary. This has caused them to go on a strike for days now, reclaiming this area's salary, and this has caused negative impacts as major streets in Yaoundé, capital city of Cameroon, is being littered with death. Dianenkam took interest in this and now reports.
On our way to hosting the African Cup of Nations come January 2022, this is what Cameroon's political capital Yaoundé looks like on the eve of the event. Trash cans filled beyond capacity, blocking the gateways to shop in markets and occupying a better part of motorable roads in major streets, which is not without a consequence on the daily routine of traders and road users at large. Faced with such a disturbing situation, each and every individual will naturally question the whereabouts of the company in charge of hygiene in the city of Yaoundé. In getting answers to the question, therefore, the team of Camdis Television visited the headquarters of Hisakam, where we were being directed to their base in Kulfulu. There, we met an angry crowd with all the trucks parked with no sign of working anytime soon. Getting their own side of the story, we were presented a list of worries ranging from the non-payment of salaries for 3 months now, their demand for individual protective kits, the awards of medals, 100% assurance for the employees, among many others.
Grève parce que ça fait 3 mois qu'on réclame.
We are on strike because we have been demanding for salaries for 3 months now. You can see my last paid slip, which in since July, and I received 26,000 CFA francs. A family man, I can use 26,000 francs for 3 months. In 3 months, in a serious country and in a serious company like Hisakam, that is why we are on strike. We have written to their authorities. We have written to our delegate, but I am sorry to tell you that we have delegates who for their personal interests and not for the personnel. When they get to the CEO, they are being full with envelope and bread and sardine, and he tells us that he has created his enterprise and we will not tell him what to do.
On ne peut pas l'imposer.
De près comme de loin, que ce soit les ouvriers, manœuvres et cadres.
As you can see, it is for all the employees. It did not come from one person, but all of us, both far and near. We know that after this, certain person will be targeted. We are hungry. Our children are not going to school. Our wives are not longer in our homes. Everything is not okay. We are not a stranger. It is our country. We are Cameroonian and need to get what is our due.
Quelque temps après, nous ne sommes pas des étrangers. C'est notre pays, notre patrimoine. Nous sommes les Camerounais. Nous méritons de vivre notre dû.
Traders who are embarrassed but are forced to deal with the situation can be spotted selling in the dustbins with their foodstuff, most often perishable and ready for consumption. They are, however, expressing their wish for the supplications of the Hisakam workers to be taken into consideration for the benefits of all.
What will we do? We will only deal with it because the workers are not being paid. Tell the director of Hisakam to pay its workers so that they can work. That is trash. They were here today and they said if they are not being paid salary for 3 months, they will not work. What can we do? If we stay home, what will we eat?
The said strike action has been going on for 5 days now, with the impacts felt by many, if not all. It is rather unfortunate that these workers who play a very important role in maintaining the hygiene of the city of Yaoundé are still not able to get what is their due. Some have, however, complained of their children staying back home, while others are constantly object of ridicule to their wives due to their inability to stand up to their expectations. If the popular proverb which states that cleanliness is next to godliness is to be applied in Yaoundé presently, it will not be an exaggeration to say the city will be far from gold.
We now move over to the northwest region, precisely in Bafut subdivision, where over 200 men and women were given hope to live again. This was during a 2-day sensitization campaign carried out by a non-governmental organization known as Vision of Hope. During this 2-day campaign, parents were also sensitized on how to prevent cancer, hypertension, and also diabetes. Our northwest regional correspondent Neba Jerome also said that during these 2-day campaigns, COVID-19 prevention kits were distributed to the hospital and parents in that part of the country. Let's meet Neba Jerome in Bafut.
The intense gun battle within the municipality of Bafut has traumatized the population, giving rise to an increase in the number of non-communicable diseases. Today, the story has changed as close to 200 people receive medical checkup and medication from a non-governmental organization called Vision of Hope in breast cancer, diabetes, and hypertension.
We came to aid a target group, which we said 40 years and above, both male and female, to work with them on the some non-communicable diseases like hypertension and diabetes, and also for the women to examine them for any breast cancer that might have been developing or lumps in the breast, because this is a month for breast cancer. So we came down to Bafut to work with this age group, and we are happy with the turnout.
The old parents have pleaded for the process to continue within the subdivision, as the NGO is now their lone hope.
I have come here because of high blood pressure that has been troubling me for some time. So when I heard that my brothers of Vision of Hope were around giving medicines to people, I decided to come. And they have given me medicines. They have done everything. I want to thank them. I want to thank them very much for what that they've done. And I pray that the Almighty God will continue to help them and help them so that wherever they are getting the drugs and bringing them to us, let them continue and help us. In fact, we are really in trouble in Bafut.
Vision of Hope, founded in 2016, has diagnosed women with cervical cancer, and today they are free from the disease.
This is a program that we pray it should be sustainable. As of now, I do self-sponsorship. It is just a passion that I have. It has been a dream that I've had for a very long time, for a very long time. And considering the fact that I don't have any sponsors, I struggle on my own, maybe from the little salary that I get to the population.
Items such as tap bucket, soap were also handed to both patients and the hospital authorities to continue the fight against the COVID-19 pandemic. There is hope that Vision of Hope will continue giving hope to the people of Bafut.
We remain in the northwest region of the country, where the people of Nkwen in Bamenda 3 Ekanso will showcase their cultural prowess when November 26, 2021 comes knocking. This was made known by the mayor of the Bamenda 3 Ekanso, Fongo Klesus, during a press briefing with media men and women. Our northwest regional correspondent, Neba Jerome, compiled this report for us.
The purpose of the 3-day cultural festivals, according to Mayor Fongo Kletus, is to protect and preserve the culture of the Nkwen people after consultation with the population. This, he says, is thanks to the collaboration with the Fondoms of Nza and Nkwen that the cultural festival, baptized Bamenda 3 Festival of Heritage, Art and Cultures 2021, will see the light of the day.
The population of Bamenda 3 municipality for the past 3-4 years have been, their minds have been drifted towards a crisis situation. So we equally want a situation that they feel some other aspect of life which is not related to crisis. So that is one of the things that we intend to achieve. And apart from the fact that our culture will be valorized and promoted in a systematic manner, given the fact that we have decided to make this event annually. And every year now we'll keep on optimizing the values and putting more flesh onto it.
It is hoped that the festival will attract visitors, which will stimulate the growth of tourism and other businesses in Bamenda and the Northwest region from November 26 to 28, which will also foster the pride of Nkwen community.
And anything that concerns culture attract hundreds and thousands of people. And if these people are present, it will be the best medium for us to valorize the culture and then make people think differently.
Bamenda 3 municipality, note should be taken, is made up of 66 villages, which will be showcasing various types of cultural artifacts. The municipality is surrounded by 5 main villages, namely Bafut, Mankon, Mendankwe, Bambili, and Awing. The Bamenda 3 Festival of Heritage Art and Culture is expected to be one of the biggest cultural festivals organized in recent times in the Northwest region.
If you are just tuning in, this is the 6 p.m. Prime News on Camdis television in the Queen's language. We now have images of a scientific researcher under the theme Scientific Research and Instruments for the Structural Transformation of Cameroon's Economy in the context of COVID-19 pandemic. The Ministry of Scientific Research and Innovation has launched a 3-day ceremony this Wednesday, October 27th at the Esplanade of the Institute of Agriculture Research for Development campus, Kolbisong, a neighborhood here in Yaoundé. The ceremony aims at bringing together scientific researchers and innovators to fight against COVID-19 through the exhibition of their transformed research products. Let's listen to an excerpt of the General Inspector of the Ministry of Scientific Research and Innovation, Professor Tagempa Gilbert.
We are putting forward the what we have done so far as the fight against the COVID-19 is concerned. The testing that has been done so far by the Kmer, the trading practitioners are being promoted by the Ministry of Scientific Research and Innovation, and many other things are being done. For example, we had to make the solution, the hydroalcoholic solutions and the mask that were distributed to all ministry in charge of education in our country last year. It was in July 2020. So that's what we have been doing so far as the fight against the COVID-19 is concerned. Yeah, that's the main aim of this this week of excellence. That's we have to put forward the contribution of our ministry, of the Ministry of Scientific Research and Innovation, in pushing this economy forward by doing the structural transformation according to the SND trend, which is now the current instrument of the policy as far as the economy is concerned, towards our Vision 2035, as the head of state decided some years ago. Everything concerning the local product, the maize, for example, as far as the rice, for example, you saw up there, they were displaying rice, all types of rice, beans, and many other products developed by URAD that can push forward our economy. And we are also now working on the blé, succeeded in identifying new species that can help produce more than many tons per hectare. Wheat, yeah, as I said, the Cameroon has developed the new wheat species that is able to boost our production and help have more than 1,000 tons per hectare in our country, which is very, very interesting.
We now talk sports, this time with images on the last COCAN meeting that took place here in Yaoundé. The Minister of Sport and Physical Education, Professor Narcisse Moile Kombi, president of the local organizing committee of the AFCON 2021, presided over an evaluation meeting of the various technical commissions in the conference room of his ministry in Yaoundé today. After the signing of the framework agreement between the Confederation of African Football (CAF) and Cameroon, it is high time the various technical commissions accelerate actions on the terrain for a collective successful of the football bonanza to be hosted in Cameroon next year. Minister Narcisse Moile Kombi and the various stakeholders therefore used today's evaluation meeting to see what has been done this far and what needs to be done before the competition kicks off. We continue in a sports page where the head coach of the Indomitable Lions, Antonio Conceição, has made a list of 32 Indomitable Lions selected to take part in the FIFA Cup competition that will be taking place in 2022. Now Cameroon is expected to take on Malawi and Cote d'Ivoire this November 13 and 16 respectively. Isaac Ngongum completes the story for us.
The list of 32 players pre-selected for the double confrontation against Malawi and Cote d'Ivoire, scheduled for the 13th and 16th of November 2021, has some slight modifications on the squad that played against Mozambique earlier this month. At the goalkeeping compartment, Andre Onana makes his comeback after missing out on previous games due to suspension. At the defense line, Ambroise Oyongo Bitolo and Jerome Ongene also feature on the Portuguese tacticians list. There is no major surprise at the midfield, but Antonio Conceição seems to have ignored the voice of some Cameroonians who were clamoring for the return of Clinton Jie to the den for attacking duties. Forward, Tawamba Kana also makes his return to the den, but Cameroonians will certainly miss Harold Mukudi at the defense line due to an injury sustained during club action in the game opposing his Saint-Etienne side to Angers in the French Ligue 1. Even though the 32-man squad is a provisional list, Cameroonians hope those who will be selected in the final list will live up to expectations when duty calls. There is no room for error as the Indomitable Lions of Cameroon must win both games to guarantee qualification into the last stage of qualifiers for the 2022 FIFA World Cup in Qatar.
We now take you out of the country in this international page where the Sudan's Prime Minister Abdallah Hamdok have regained freedom after spending days in captivity in the hands of the forces of law and order due to the coup that is ongoing in that part of the world. And in Nigeria, over 12 million children are not resumed school as a result of the fear that happened in 2024 that led to the kidnap of more than 100 students by armed men. We have details and more with Ruth Fonyo.
Sudan's Prime Minister Abdallah Hamdok is back home after what it looks like a coup by the military. Earlier ruling General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan had announced that the Prime Minister was staying at his home for security reasons. The Sudanese military, led by General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan, seized power on Monday amid tensions linked to the transition to democracy. Nigeria's President Muhammadu Buhari said 12 million children are scared of going to school in the country where jihadis and heavily armed criminals have kidnapped hundreds of students for ransom. The first mass school abduction in Africa's most populous nation was in the northeast in 2014, where Boko Haram jihadis snatched 276 girls from Chibok, triggering a global campaign called Bring Back Our Girls. Gunmen in northwest and central Nigeria have increasingly targeted schools, kidnapping more than 1,000 students since December. Military operations are underway across the country, but security security forces are often described as overstretched and overwhelmed. Amnesty International has urged Madagascar government and the rest of the world to step up relief efforts for the island nation's drought-hit south. More than 1 million people on Madagascar's parched southern tip are on the brink of famine, and some are already dying. About 3/4 of the country's 25 million people live in poverty. Madagascar has gone through 10 recorded food crises since 1896.
It is with that international roundup done to us by Ruth Fonyong that we come to an end of our English Prime News on Camdis Television. Here is a recap of our major headlines. Business operators have incurred huge material and financial losses after fire broke out, consuming about 10 shops at the Marché Bay Market in Bafoussam, West region of Cameroon. The ambassador of the Korean Republic, His Excellency Jogan Kim, has been granted audience by the minister delegates in the Ministry of External Relations in charge of Commonwealth, Felix Mbayo, to discuss on how to strengthen the over 60 years good bilateral relationship that exists between Cameroon and Korea. Antonio Conceição, head coach of the Indomitable Lions of Cameroon, have released a list of 32 players pre-selected for the World Cup qualifiers in November, and Cameroon will be playing Malawi and Cote d'Ivoire on the 13th and 16th of November 2021. Thanks for watching, dear televiewers. Do not go away. At exactly 8 p.m., Jacques Jacques will be bringing you news in the French language. Stay have a wonderful moment in the company of our programs. Bye.